wakes at 4:45 before the world knows his name. Burpees on the living room floor, discipline before daylight. He's led men through sweat and silence, called them higher when they wanted out, hacked the sawtooths with grit in his lungs and truth in every step. They say he once faced down a bear, stood his ground, didn't flinch. That's how you know the measure of a man. From gravel lots to Buckingham Palace, where he dropped for burpees on stone, proof that leadership travels light and works anywhere. There's ink on his chest, 3 letters, not for show, not for pride, but for the men beside him and the ones still on their way. This is the circle of trust, this is the work, and this is Huckleberry.
Welcome back to the Circle of Trust podcast. Today is Monday, December the 15th. Monday, December the 15th. We're coming at you fast. Had a lot going on in the month of November. Actually had a lot going on this whole year. Dark Helmet advised SLT to take a break, take a couple weeks off. So I'm not real sure. Kind of a little disjointed. I know we got a State of the Nation coming up January the 20th. So go ahead and pencil that in on your calendars, and we'll start talking about that more. I know we got, we just want to kudos a couple guys, a couple things going out there in the world, the social media guys. If you are a social media guy in your local region and you want to connect with other social media guys, the best place is to connect on the social media channel on Slack. But also, there seems to be this chat thread in Instagram that it's like 50 dudes in there, all kind of running the comms for the regions, and tons of great discussions. And right now we're having a hashtag discussion. So if you're interested in learning algorithms and figuring that out and talking to other nerds about it and me, jump in there. I appreciate it. At Mud Gear, great time to buy a gift, get a gift. You can ask your M for just about anything you want Christmas time. So check out the Mud Gear. I just got me a chrome plated, I think, because I donated to the Accelerate campaign, a chrome plated F3 emblem for the back of my truck, and I drive a Toyota Tundra. It's on there now, looks fantastic. But get those other Christmas. Maybe I'll ask our guests what they hope they get for Christmas, and what should every dude have in their Christmas repertoire. We'll see how that goes. But speaking of Mud Gear, I want to thank a lot of guys for the branding process. I know we go through a specific process other than the guys in the UK. We haven't figured that out yet. But the F3 symbol is copyrighted, as well as the Fitness Fellowship and Faith language. That's copyrighted, and certainly that all written needs to run through Mud Gear. I know there's a lot of talk. I know there's a guy, he's making Christmas ornaments for his packs, and he's going to give those away for free, not making any money off of it. Honestly, nobody cares about that. That's really cool he's doing that. Certainly, we want to use those. We allow guys to make brochure, promote F3 out there. Don't need to charge them for that stuff. You can buy cards off Mud Gear. I know that to hand them out. But basically, that all needs to run through Mud Gear. If you want to do a AO-specific shirt that doesn't have the F3 on it, there's a lot of options out there, but when it comes to the F3 stuff, we have to really control what goes on our shirts. And there are times where we say, no, we ain't putting that on our shirt. And that happens from time to time. There's some great discussions that go on about that, but just make sure you follow those Mud Gear guidelines. Any questions, feel free to reach out to Malco. Reach out to me if you need to, but just want to go. Coming up, I'm going to splice it here because these guys aren't in the studio yet. So I'm going to splice it here, and I'm going to do a reintroduction. And it may look a little disjointed, but here we go. Cutting into that, but here we go. With me today, today's conversation about what it means to be capable physically, mentally, and as a leader. Joining us is Jason Khalipa, CrossFit Games champion, entrepreneur, coach, brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
By the time he's a black belt. By the time they hear this, he'll be a black belt.
And the voice behind Train Hard philosophy focused on preparing men to protect and provide. Alongside him, my boy, Dark Helmet, a leader forged in community, discipline, and service, known for building men through consistency, shared suffering, and the standards that don't bend when life gets hard. These are two men who've led in different arenas, but who share the same core belief. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. Let's get into
That's
it.
accurate.
And you boys want to introduce yourselves, do a better job than I did. And Jason, you go by Magnum in the F3 world, correct?
I mean, I do
That's
go
right,
by
baby.
Magnum, and there's so many. I mean, Dark Helm and I were talking.
It could go a lot of ways.
There's could be
no.
Well,
I mean, what I meant to say is yes. He's a Smith and Wesson sponsored firearms guy. Like he competes and so that was how they got Magnum. After the workout on Tuesday, though, when you were here in Charlotte, which by the way, can I just say again, what an absolute pleasure was to meet you, brother. And I really appreciate the friendship we're growing here. It's really, really cool. But a bunch of guys were like, we should have named him Orange Theory. And I was like, that's okay. All right, that's fine.
It's funny about that because I was in Sunnyvale at F3, and when I got my name, because I was at FNG, and the guys like, they're riffing. Someone's like, oh, call him Orange Theory. I was like, whatever, dude. I mean, whatever the name is, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But then they kept asking more questions like, well, I'm really into jiu-jitsu, really into fitness. I got a couple of kids and I'm into shooting sports. And they're like, and then one guy's like, he's like Glock. And the other guy's like, no, like Magnum PI or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, we're going to call you Magnum. And I was like, all right. I was like, I mean,
it always goes kind of one of two ways. Like really fit guys, like guys will be like, sometimes it'll sort of end up in this, like kind of, you get a really too cool of a name, which is okay. Or it's like the guys, like if you'd been at that, if that Tuesday had been your first workout, it wouldn't have been Orange Theory. It'd have been even worse. Cause like we would be so mad that you outdid us by so much. Like he was so much, like Dredd was even like, he goes like, come back when you could do a little better next time. Like after he just smokes, I was like, it was so good. But yeah, but you would have gotten like some kind of lady name or something. Is what you would.
Man.
Yeah,
that was fun. Like, I mean, for anybody who hasn't been to, what do you guys call it? The Den?
The hot box?
The hot box.
Yeah,
if you haven't
the
been to
hot
box. That was a cool experience. I was in Tennessee for some work with Smith and Wesson. I was like, dude, I got to go see these guys. I got to go see what's going on at the HQ level. So had a great experience. 5:15 in the hot box, getting after
baby.
it. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun. It was good. It was really, really good. Yep.
All right. So to back this up, back in March, I got an email from.
He's like, and now on to something relevant. Okay, fine. Have it your way.
Back in March, I got an email, and I get a lot of emails. I probably get about one a day about F3 working with some folks and collaborating, and more often than not, it's a money grab, and people try to work free workout, and it's just you're working with volunteers and people, and it's two different alignments, and it's just hard to work out. But we've got some great guys around the nation who are creating out there creating, and certainly we're not standing in anybody's way. I believe Magnum, you found out about F3, and somehow the connection was being made. So can we back this up to what are you doing? How'd you connect with F3, and how did we get here?
Yeah, I mean, great question. So my background is heavily in the fitness space compared to leadership or faith space or any of the other spaces. I came up in the fitness space. So I started off in the traditional health club when I was 15. I started my first company at 21. I started a CrossFit gym at 21. I've been owning and operating gyms now for close to 20 years. I just turned 40. And
he's a man.
Yeah, I'm a grown man now. And I competed professionally in the sport of CrossFit for a decade, got into shooting sports and jiu-jitsu for the last decade. And essentially a couple of years ago, I started a men's club here locally. So about 3 years ago, my kids go to school here locally at a private school, and I recognized the men's club would always meet up, but in general, we'd meet up, we'd grab some beers, some pizza, we'd talk about the school, we'd move on. It was great. It was all good. But with my background, I'm like, hey, how do we do this a little bit different? How do we give an opportunity for guys to connect through this shared suffering and whatnot? So I hosted the first workout, just a bunch of guys outdoors in a parking lot. And then we did it the next weekend and the next weekend.
Sounds familiar.
And the next weekend. Yeah. And we did that for the last close to 3 years. I'd say about 2 years ago, I started to feel this deep urge to support men more. I felt deeply called to this mission of iron sharpens iron. I felt like I was just being shown that this is where I need to go. And so over the last couple of years, I've done my best to divest some time from some other ventures that we were in and invest more time into train hard and helping men train so they can protect and provide. And what that means to me is I want them to be able to run, jump, climb, lift. I want them to be able to go chase after their kids that are running into the street. I also want them to be able to go provide experiences. I don't want them to be so tired when they get home from work, they can't do anything. I want them to have the physical ability to go do things with their kids. If their kids want to go play basketball, hell yeah. If they want to go do this, hell yeah. So it was a combination of things. It was weekly free workouts for men. And what we found is like this 45-minute workout, always good energy, always good vibes, AMRAPs, EMOMs, always doing it together. And then we made it a consistent habit to go grab coffee after. So I was doing that for years. And then a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going all in on this. I keep getting requests for, to do this. And so now we're starting to roll out what we call THMCs, which are Train Hard Men's Clubs. We have 33 locations as of today. They're free, right? There's no money being exchanged, but these guys are doing it the same way I did it here in the Bay Area. 45 minutes of workout, right into coffee. And dude, just magic happens. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's how I got connected with F3 is about a year ago, I put out a video on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah, and it went, I guess, a little bit viral. At this point, I'd already been doing it for years.
Well, I would say
heard
that,
of F3.
yeah, you'd done that. You'd been doing the men's club for a couple of years, if I understand right. And you put out the video just like, hey, this is a cool thing that's happening. And I don't know what qualifies something as viral or not, but I can tell you amongst the F3 guys, it went super viral. It was like, guys were like, you're not going to believe this. This is amazing. This guy is awesome. Like, yeah. So,
yeah.
So
a couple million views later, and I get all these people saying, dude, that's F3. That's F3. And I'm like, all right, well, what's F3? Let me figure this out. And it wasn't like a you against me. I was like, well, shit, if these guys are doing it, like, let's go. So anyways, I ended up messaging a few guys, which got me to a new few guys, which eventually led me to you, Huckleberry. And I sent you an email, and I'm like, bro, I didn't say bro. I said, hey, I've been doing this. We got to collaborate. And then I don't know what happened. I think you sent me a message back and you said something. I wrote back, yeah, I was looking at like an HQ level, like trying to like create a relationship. And basically like, I don't even know what you said, but long story short, now we're here.
Yeah. I mean,
I appreciate you forgiving me.
Again, unfortunately, that is part of the deal. Like now that we've grown to the size that we are, we get a lot of guys that are like, hey, we want to help. When what they really want is, they want to try and figure out how to leverage the network, right? And I think that's significant for a couple of reasons. One, great, that happens, and there's certainly guys. I think a lot of them are probably well intentioned, but they're really kind of there to make sure that they get their thing promoted and whatever. And so, and I don't remember how you made it to me, Jason, but however that was, somebody like pinged it. Maybe they had messaged you on Instagram or something. Or so I cannot remember. But anyway, not even important. The point is that you and I got connected, and then it was like, oh well, let's really talk this through. Because here's the thing, Pax, as you're listening here, it's significant to know that Huckleberry gets one or more a week. I don't even know how many a week of different people that say they want to help or they want to be part of the movement or whatever it might be. And unfortunately, again, as well intentioned as they may or may not be, they really are mostly for themselves. Jason is the first guy, and I'm not just saying it because he's here, right? But I told him this when he was with me, here in Charlotte. Like, he's the first guy that I feel like, I mean, he was already doing it, like he was already doing almost the exact same thing that we're doing, right? A little different, but basically the same. And when I listen to the passion that you have for unlocking men, for making men better, like it is, I don't want to overstate it to sound like I'm being rude to anybody else out there that's kind of trying to work in this sort of masculinity space or whatever. But like, it's certainly the first guy that I felt like, no, you know what? I actually really align with this guy. Like he and I believe the same things. It's not, hey, I want to help so that I can sell some stuff. Hey, I want to help because, whatever reason. Like, it's like, hey, well, first of all, the number one thing was he's like, hey, I'm going to do this. I don't really care if you come or not. Right. Which to me was actually kind of refreshing because I was like, dope, like, but he was like, but if we can make it work together, then that's awesome. Right. I mean, am I wrong on that?
No. And I appreciate the kind words. I mean, look, I just so that all of your F3 community can hear it straight from my mouth, like what I'm about. I have seen the power of fitness in so many ways in my life. And I have been blessed through in-person connection to create some really great bonds with other men and women, of course, over the years. And we've lost that. We've lost this tribe mentality. We are all behind our phones on digital. And you know what? There is not a better time of my week than at 6:45 in the morning when I am done working out with a group of guys that are aligned on a shared mission of leveling each other up, pulling each other up. Then we grab coffee. There's no gurus, no paid speakers, just guys talking about real guy stuff week after week after week. Lives are changed.
Yeah. And more men
I've been
be
traveling a lot the last few weeks. I was out with you in Charlotte. I was out in Austin. And I've been hosting men's clubs all over the place, pop-ups. But I miss my crew back home. And I feel so deeply drawn to this idea that as men, we have a responsibility to go do hard things so we can show up for our families better. Like, we need this in our life. Go to the asphalt, crush a hard workout, connect, and then you don't know what you're gonna know. Like, dude, we don't claim to be like, we don't have like at least at the Train Hard Men's Club, like, we lead with fitness and everything else comes from it. And I feel like I really appreciate you sharing like the authenticity, because I drove out to you so you can meet me in person, shake my hand, and see, like, sure, will there be t-shirts for sale in the future? Sure, great.
Yeah,
but
I hope
everything
so.
I want
in fact, I said, why don't you meet our gear guy and see if we can get you some t-shirts sold?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
But everything I want to do is about pulling guys up and pulling them into the mission instead of pushing them into the mission. I want to have thousands and thousands and thousands of men meeting up in parking lots all over the world and feeling invested into this mission of like, dude, when you wear this shirt or wear an F3 shirt or wear whatever, like, you look at someone and be like, dude, that dude is trying to be the best version of themselves. And they're using this connection as a tool to do that. And it's like, hell yeah, you know?
Do you see this guy? I mean, it's legit. It's legit. And I kind of knew it anyway. I mean, I'd been on your podcast. We had talked a couple times on the phone and stuff. I knew it. And so it was just sort of solidified in stone, you know, when you actually came out and we were able to, you know, give a hug and work out next to each other. And I, you know, looked at the back of your head for, 45 minutes while I was trying to keep up.
Come on.
You know, it's what happened. But the way that I've been thinking about this a lot, and I want you to you tell me if this sounds, sounds right, is, and as we talked it through, and so Huck, this is good because you get to hear it, and then the packs get to hear it as well. But like, the truth of the matter is, even though I believe with all my whole soul that every single man on the planet can benefit from being an F3, there is no question in my mind about it. Obviously the packs know what we're all about, why we're here, what we're trying to do, and the mission that we're on to elevate men and to turn them back into the leaders that they were intended to be, right? In their homes, in their communities, all that kind of stuff, right? The fact is, we're not going to get everybody. Like, even though F3 is for every man, right? Not every man is for F3. You know what I mean? And that, I don't care. That's fine. And so, like I said, it felt so rare that there was someone who was so totally aligned that I could easily say, hey, this guy's actually about the same exact thing that we're about, right? It's free. It's in a parking lot. It's just freaking community. It's community. And that is really, to your point, that's what we're missing. And so in some ways, especially since, very candidly, his workouts are probably going to go a little harder than some of ours, right? And they're more gear based, right? And they're more customized to the individual that's going to be there, right? There's no like, now where we would circle back for the 6, or something like that, it's more CrossFit based. So it's a lot more, like he was saying, every minute on the minute, a lot more AMRAP type stuff, that sort of thing, right? And he'll describe the whole thing. I'll have him, we'll tell you about the captains and kind of what they do and how the structure is. The point is that there's going to be a lot of guys who are like, actually, I'm not, I'm in need of more weights. I'm in need of something different in my fitness because this isn't really doing it for me. I have no problem now, with absolutely just saying like, have you ever heard of Train Hard Men's Club? Well, get out there, hit that on the Saturday, because I guess they're all on Saturday or most on Saturdays, or whenever it is, and maybe some will go to more times a week. Who knows? Right. But like, get out there and hit those. Feel free to come to F3. I mean, we're always open. I make the same amount of no money, whether you come or whether you don't come. I don't care, right? But the point is that it's obvious to me that the needs of men in our country are, there's guys out there now in this movement that we're in. There's guys out there now that we're focused on that, right? That's what we're focused on. That's what we're moving toward. And I would argue, we know where we sit with F3. I haven't seen anybody else that I know of that's doing it the same way that Jason's doing it, that I feel like that's somebody that I would go, yeah, I totally recommend. I recommend anybody do something to make your life better. Sure. But like, where I could say, you're going to get a lot of the same kind of stuff that we get. It is, because it's that magic, isn't it, Jay? When they're together, you suffer next to each other, you work your face off, a guy's encouraging, and then you open your heart up in that coffee afterward, and something magical happens, right? That fellowship, that glue that keeps a guy together, because there's just not spaces like that in the world right now. There's no place for that anymore.
And there needs to be more of. And like F3
Agreed.
And Train Hard Men's Club, it's like we were using we are on the same mission, and there are slightly different variations on ways to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to note. Like, using it as a fitness analogy, I don't care if you go to Orange Theory, F45, or CrossFit.
I really care if you go to F45. I hate those. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean?
I don't care. I'm joking.
You're on the
I'm joking.
same
yes,
mission
of course.
To try and improve yourself, have better blood markers, and better for your family. And I think that the Train Hard Men's Club, I just want to share with all the F3 community a little bit of the differences. You know, I would say that for us, what was really important for me was that it doesn't matter if you do 1 rep or 50 reps, everybody does everything together. So the way we do it is we do a warm up, couple laps, and then we do the captain, we call them. So we have captains, not coaches. And there's a captain, a co-captain, and maybe even a third captain, depending on how big your group is. So for me, when I've been traveling, my co-captain takes over, but it isn't a rotating leadership position. Whereas F3 develops leaders, which is great. We're not looking to develop leaders past the extension of multiple captains, because these are people who maybe come from a fitness background. They have certain personalities that drive positivity and encouragement. And so that's just where we're doing it.
Well, and a lot of these guys are box owners, right? I mean, like they may have a CrossFit box or something. And so
some of them
they've already
CrossFit
sort of
gyms.
built a little bit of kind of community in there somehow. But what they're getting a lot of times, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is why I love it so much, right? Is it's like a guy who signs up to go to CrossFit is looking for a certain thing, typically just fitness, a little bit of community, tiny bit of community, maybe, you know, like, oh, I see the same people or something, you know, right? But when a guy who's a CrossFit, you know, gym owner opens a Train Hard Men's Club at the same place, like, now he's opened his world up to a whole new set of guys who would have had no exposure, may have had no exposure to fitness at all.
Yep.
You know, there might be guys coming out there for the first time ever.
Like, that's exactly, you know, right.
Right.
So I did a pop-up at a CrossFit gym on Saturday, and then I did a High Rocks, which was great. I did it with my wife.
Not familiar, but yeah,
it's if you're not familiar with High Rocks, just a lot of running, and I did it with my wife. It was great. But anyways, I did a men's club, and we hosted it. So you think like, dude, why wouldn't you just host it inside the gym? You have access to a gym, because that's not the spirit of what we're trying to get across. We took the weights, we brought them out into a grungy parking lot. It was cold outside. It was dark. We were on the pavement, and that's exactly the way it should be, because something happens when that sun starts to come up, when that asphalt starts to burn your back from doing a sit-up on. It's like, yeah. So anyways, we have captains, not coaches. We're outdoors. Right? We're free always. Very similar principles to F. We start off with just bringing everybody together. Maybe if we have some new people, we might just, you know, clap them up, be like, hey, we appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you. Right? You could have been in bed, but you're out here with us. So hell yeah. We do a warm up. We do part of what we call the Train Hard burpee test, which is, depending on the captain, it's anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes of 15 burpees every minute on the minute. And the goal is, my goal personally, is to get every man that I know to do 10 minutes of that. That's my goal, long term.
That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
I'm starting off with 3 to 5 minutes. And so if you can't do 15 burpees a minute, we can reduce that down. But everybody does that. It's 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what the captain wants. After that, we get into some type of strength session. So at this point, everybody always works together. So the pitch is, guys, I don't care if you do 15 burpees or 10. We're going to do it every minute on the minute. Let's go. All right, cool. Then we go to our strength. Which is like a 9-minute rotation, 12-minute rotation, but we always do it together. And that's an opportunity where we're lifting weights, but our heart rate is low. So we have an opportunity just to chat and connect in a way.
Yeah, we call it mumble chatter, right? But
mumble chatter.
The same. It's just but
you're lifting, right?
Yeah.
You know, presses, curls, squats, whatever. And then after that, we get into some Metcon, like metabolic style conditioning, which is going to be anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. That's going to be a little bit higher intensity, but everybody does it together. And then we finish off with a 2 to 4 minute, just kind of like finisher, just like, you know, bottom to bottom squats, max push-ups in a minute, something to really like put a bow on it. We come together, we take a picture, we have a Train Hard flag, boom, we're off to coffee. And so for us, there is no.
And they all have to take their shirts off too, right?
So
I'm just kidding. You don't have to. I'm just joking.
No, have you seen their website? It is like, get your shirts off, boys. We're taking a picture.
Originally, it was shirts off. So this is a really good point. Originally at our men's club in Los Gatos, we get about 100 guys in Los Gatos every week. My vision was to get hundreds of men shirts off, because the pitch was, hey guys, I want you to feel comfortable without your shirt on. I don't care what you look like. You can look however you want, but I want you to show up here and be confident in who you are. When you're at the beach with your lady, I want you to be able to take off your shirt and feel good about it. So it started off that way. The problem is, as we've grown now to multiple locations, there's a lot of nuance in saying that to somebody. And so I feel like now we don't want to make a requirement to take your shirt off, because we might lose the nuance as we scale. Like, there's nuance to everything. It's all about the way you pitch it. You know
also,
what I mean?
The guy in Minneapolis doesn't even know what a beach is. So it doesn't make sense to him to say, go to the beach with your lady. He has never seen one. So it's
Exactly. So we gotta adapt, right? But that's the way a Train Hard Men's Club goes, right? We don't have nicknames. We call the movement what the movement is. We don't have a circle of trust at the end. Like, we don't have certain things, and that's okay. But we always use weight, by the way. We always have weight. We have sandbags,
gear,
weight, or dumbbells.
Yeah. But that's, again, that's what I just think is so fascinating, but also what I feel like so aligned to, because in a way it's like, and Jason and I were talking about this, Huck, where it's like, I know guys that we've lost out of F3 because they're like, candidly, I need more weightlifting in my life and I want more of that. Or maybe they were athletes. They came out to F3 and they were like, this is great for the fellowship part, but you guys like don't do, like, your form is terrible, number one, you know, and also like, you know, you're just not doing the same kinds of things that I want to do to keep myself fit the way I want to be, you know, like they're much more weight or they're much more, you know, whatever it is. Right. And so to have, like, there's always been options. Like, anybody can go anywhere, right? You're a grown man, go join, like you said, go join Orange Theory, go join, like, you could do whatever you want. But to have a place that I feel like is a true partner to say, yeah, no, go do this. In fact, I would say F3 guys ought to be looking and saying, if you think to yourself, this is good, but I'd love more gear, go talk to your local CrossFit box guy and start a Train Hard men's club on a Saturday. I mean, I think that's what you ought to be doing. I mean, I'm really serious, because, you know, again, it's not like we can cannibalize from one another. How much more money will you make from Train Hard Men's Club, Jay, if 1,000 people show up tomorrow?
We get a royalty fee of $0 per location.
Right?
I mean, that's the spirit.
My
right?
bonus goes up $0. You know, like, yeah, right. I mean,
but, you know, and to your point, you know, I just want to say that one other piece of it that I do think is a little bit different. I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
Is that we do have the email info on our website. So if you go to th.fit, that's our normal website. We have chosen, and I don't, the jury's still out. Who knows?
We don't feel bad about it. You're okay. Go ahead.
But on the map, we have an email for the captain and co-captain. The reason why I found that to be important is that when I was first looking at going to an F3, I was looking in the Bay Area. There's several locations.
Yeah.
But the only one that I was able to find that was on the weekend that conflicted with my current men's club was on a Tuesday at 5:15. And I get up and I train hard every day. So I'm not afraid of working hard. But what I am, like, just didn't want to do is drive 30 minutes and not know if anybody was going to be there. So for me, having the captain's email is cool, because then people who are interested could email the captain. The captain could say, yo, dude, we're meeting at this place at this time. Let's go. So that's a little difference. But F3 has been super successful. It's just like, hey, we're going to show up here all the time. We are going to be once a week, and we're going to have the emails out.
Yeah. And I think, you know, honestly, I was going to say, I honestly think that might be a best practice, Pax, if you're listening, right? That might be a best practice that ought to be adopted. You know what I mean? Like, put the PsyQ's number on there so he can, like, for sure know when an FNG is coming out. Like, although there is a little bit of attraction, it seems like, for the sort of weird Wild West, like, no idea what's going to happen. So I don't know, but to your point, who knows? But that's the thing, is, all the differences aside, I really feel like that as Nantan of F3 Nation, I really feel like, again, like I said, you know, for the first time, I feel like here's a guy who gets it, who really believes what we believe. Now, don't get me wrong, Pax. I'm going to try really hard to convince him that he should be having F3 flags instead of Train Hard flags. That's my job. Right. But I also recognize it doesn't matter. I'm totally joking when I say that, by the way. I mean, of course not. But so that brings us
similar than we are different by any means.
By far.
Because you and I, when I'm in your underground parking garage.
Yeah.
First off, I love the parking garage idea.
So good, right? Yeah.
So good. And the fact that we did pull-ups on like a sewer pipe or whatever that was, I'm like, yes, like, that's what I'm talking about.
It's raw. Yeah.
It's raw, but you're preaching, like, it's so crazy to me when I'm reading the book, your guys' book, and I'm listening to, like, the origin story, and I'm listening, and I'm like, man, this is me. But 10, 15 years ago, whatever it is. And I feel like many men, as I'm out in the community, many men, I do think, have this deep desire to get back to just some fundamental principles of connecting. And we connect as men shoulder to shoulder, right? Women in general, they do such a better job in this, but they connect face to face really well. Men, we do a terrible job of face to face. We do a much better job shoulder to shoulder. And that is why I think F3 has been so successful and changed so many men's lives. And this is just another take on the same mission. We see it the exact same. You know, it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day, and I said, "Hey, when's the last time you got with I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, or like There was a woman who was there.
A friend who is a woman. I got you.
Yeah.
Don't tell your wife. It's okay.
Yeah. By the way, for all the F3 who are wondering a little bit more about my background, my wife and I, we met at 14 and we have 2 kids. So just so you know, I've had 1 girlfriend and 1 job, and that's where I'm at. But anyways, I'm like, dude, when's the last time you went out with your girlfriends? She's like, oh, a couple of days ago. And you ask that same question to 50 men. When's the last time you went out with a guy, like a friend of yours, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner with 0 business intent? And they probably can't name a
They'd
time
look
in the
at you.
last
They'd be
year.
like,
What?
huh.
What? That's a thing?
And
all
I can't
we're
even think of
doing
who
is
I would go with. Yeah.
We're disguising this connection, right? Where we don't know what's going to come up. We're just disguising connection with a workout, right? It gives us a purpose to connect.
Exactly. I think I told you, I can't remember if I said it, but I say it all the time in F3. I'm like, look, if knitting was the thing that would bring men into community and connect them together to make them better husbands, better fathers, and all that kind of stuff, then we would knit. And we would knit. I mean,
we'd be really good
amazing
at
knitting. It would be amazing, right? But we would knit. But that's not what does it. What does it is, to your point, this shoulder to shoulder connection, this work hard, get dirty, be gritty, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great segue, by the way, to the 45-day challenge that you proposed to us that I want to talk about, because I think it's something, I know it is. Something we're launching after the first of the year.
So again, my background is in training. My background is in fitness. I've been heavily involved in that for a long time. And currently I'm very focused on Train Hard and also supporting law enforcement. So I spend a lot of time with law enforcement. I spend a lot of time on Train Hard helping men. I
spend a lot of time with law enforcement too, but it's mostly running away. I'm just kidding. No, that's not. Just kidding.
But those are 2 audiences I feel really pulled to. Law enforcement in particular, because I want to help them with a set of tools, hopefully get home to their family safe. And with men, it's because I have some cheat codes that I've learned over the last 20 years that I think could really help them. And so what we're putting together is what we call the shoulder to shoulder challenge from Train Hard. And it starts January 5th. And this challenge has 5 core principles to it, and it lasts 45 days. To start off with, I'll mention the one that's the most easiest for F3 to solve, which is once a week, you have to work out with another guy. That's number 1.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. We do that pretty much every day. But
for you guys, it's going to be easy. For many men that are doing this challenge, and we're hoping to get well over 1,000, that's really hard for them. Most guys don't do that.
Either they don't work out at all, which is fair, or they do like they'll go to the, what did they call it? Bro lifting? Or something like that. Yeah. Like they'll go bro lift at the gym, or they got they might have some stuff in their garage and still kind of work out there, or maybe they jog, but it's always by themselves.
Yep. Always by themselves. Yeah. And, I believe that life is, my dad came from Iran, and many years ago, so my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia in 2016. And shortly after she was diagnosed, it's probably like a month or 2 later, you're getting out of the fog a little bit. My dad's like, hey, Jason, life is going to be hard, and we need to work through the hard times and enjoy the good times. And I believe that fitness allows us to develop the mindset to overcome adversity in real life. We're intentionally putting ourselves in difficult positions to make us stronger mentally and physically. And so anyways, doing it shoulder to shoulder is nice because it allows someone else to hold you accountable for 45 days to potentially create habits that are going to change your life in 2026. I really feel that way.
If you do anything for 30 to 45 days, and if you do it well, if you try at it, it can become a lifelong habit. I mean, that's science, as we say, right? Work out with another dude at least once a week. What are the other ones?
That's number 1. Number 2 is we're going to put out, we have 5 workouts a week. So it's 5 workouts a week with 2 rest days. On the rest day, there's an optional walk, mobility. And so it's 5 workouts a week along with 2 rest days. These workouts are going to require minimal equipment. And look, we could have done a lot of different options, but this one, the goal is to get guys off the couch and to get them incorporating into some kind of functional style training. So you need a set of dumbbells, preferably 2 sets, a heavier and a little bit lighter. But if you don't have that, a set of dumbbells and access to cardio. That could be running, rowing, biking, you name it. That's all you need for this challenge.
So if you can get outside and you have 2 dumbbells,
you're going to be in a good spot. And then there's an optional for the guys who are like, hey man, I don't want to lose my gains. There's an optional strength cycle we put together that has a pull, push, and squat every single week built in 3 days a week. If you're like, hey, I'm already in good shape, but I kind of want to do this with my friends, do the dumbbell style workout. It's going to be great. And then hit the optional strength cycle in addition. So that's pillar number 2 is you got to do the workouts. Good. Pillar number 3. Okay. This one's really important. they're all really important, is getting in 45 grams of protein per meal, 3 meals a day. So the average guy, let's just say,
freaking protein, bro.
It is. But here's the reason why this matters. Protein as a macronutrient, if you eat like a nice piece of chicken or fish or steak, it's really difficult for you then to over digest and consume all the crap on your plate. So the reason why protein, and again, nutrition is very nuanced, but in general, if you could wake up in the morning and prioritize 45 grams of protein instead of just grabbing a bag of chips or trying to fast until the middle of the day and then grabbing the first thing you find.
Granola bar that's super healthy. Yeah.
Right. You don't want to be starving. As soon as a man becomes, and starving is again, a very broad
hungry.
term.
Yeah.
Very hungry. Okay. If you're very hungry at 2:00, you're just going to grab the first thing you see. And in general, it won't be a good nutrition choice. So if you prioritize in the morning 45 grams of protein, it'll allow you to make better nutrition choices as the day goes on. And if you have 45 grams of protein per major meal, it'll allow you to make better choices within that realm. And it's going to be hard for guys, right? They're going to realize like, wow. And if you need to use protein shakes and yogurts and stuff, that's fine. But if you could prioritize real food, that's the goal. So that's number 3, right?
So your meat budget's going to go up, but it's worth it.
Dude, but you know what you should do is you could prep food. So on Sundays, my wife and I will get, I call it monster mash. It's ground beef with rice and a little bit of bone broth. And we'll make a large amount of it. And then you could prioritize that. You could have that with eggs for breakfast. You could have it for lunch. So you'll have to think a little bit more, but what it'll do, I'm telling you, if you prioritize protein, you'll feel phenomenal. You won't have the same brain fog and you'll get jacked. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4, this one is incredible. They're all incredible. Is 45 burpees every day. Okay. So every morning for well over a year, I start my morning with what I call BCB. It's Bible Coffee Burpee. Now you could do whatever you want in the morning. You don't have to read the way I read. But for me, I feel like if you start your morning off with the same routine, it allows you to put points on the scoreboard early and win for the rest of the day because you chose to prioritize that. So wake up. You could do 15 burpees every minute for 5 minutes. You could do 9 for 8 minutes, whatever it is. I don't care how you get them done. Just 45 burpees at some point in the day. I like to get them in the morning.
Is it important that you do them all at one time, essentially, right? To get that heart rate up. So it's not like, oh, I did 5 now. I'll wait an hour, do 10, wait a couple hours, right?
But you don't even need
45 in one.
But what I'm saying is like, well, I mean, most people's heart rate
but it's mostly about the mental.
It's about the mental. It's about saying to yourself that for 45 days, I'm committing to do something that I really don't want to do. And I'm going to do it every day. And so like for me, I start every morning off with my BCB and then I go work out later. But I know that if as the day goes on, if I could prioritize that morning, dude, I just feel like I'm winning the day because it allows me to center myself. If a guy wakes up 10 minutes early and does 45 burpees, it'll change the way the rest of their day shows. It'll change the way you show up as a husband, as a father, and all the things. So that's number 4.
It's funny you say that, and I'm not trying to run us off the rails or anything, but like as packs are listening to this, a lot of guys, they'll do a 2-mile or a 3-mile pre-run to a workout or something like that.
Sure.
Great. That's awesome. Instead of that, or maybe even in addition to that, because it doesn't have that much time, like show up to the workout 10 minutes early and just bang out those burpees, man. Then guess what? You're warmed up for sure. So whatever comes in the next 45 should be no problem, right? I mean, and so that's the idea. Yeah, we already do hard stuff in the morning. I get it, guys. So don't be like, well, I already do that. Yes, you already do that. And now you're going to add just one more thing to make it that much harder and that much more beneficial.
And before you go on to number 5, can we just stop at 4? Because I know what the 5th one is, and I don't want to do it.
Well, just real quick though, I just want to, on number 4, before we get to number 5, you ask like the guys that are listening to this, they're prepared to go and train hard early in the morning. Yeah. I get it. But I'm talking about consistency every single day. So here's what's going to happen. And I get it. You're going to be about a week in. It's going to be Sunday. You'll be like, damn, I really don't want to do these burpees. And you're going to do it. Then about 3 weeks in, you're going to be like, dude, really? I've already done so many of these. And then you're going to break the seal. You're going to break this moment. Yeah. You're going to be like, I was able to commit every single day for 45 days. And you build your confidence and it makes you feel good because there's going to be a day. So there's going to be a day where 45 burpees, you do not want to do it. It's the last thing in the world you want to do. And when you do it, when you get to the other side of those 45 burpees, because at the most, it'll take you 10 minutes. At the most. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you got to go really slow to take you 10 minutes.
4.5 burpees a minute, every minute for 10 minutes. Come on, guys.
It's really slow. And you're going to say to yourself on the other side of that, hell yeah.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we do it. And there's all different variations you could do.
Yeah. And I do have one question, but I'll save it for the very end. But I just watched a thing with David Goggins, who most of our guys are probably pretty familiar with, and Huberman, Andrew Huberman. And Huberman was telling him there's a certain part of your brain that grows when you do something that you do not want, something difficult that you do not want to do. And that this part of your brain is part of what, like he said, I think it's the key to like feeling alive, right? There's something there, like people who have no discipline, yeah, exactly. Like all that kind of stuff, like these things that you're like, I do not want to do this. But if you do it, it's not that the burpees are that hard or you're going to get, I mean, yes, the conditioning is good. There's all kinds of benefits. But the biggest one is that you're not just like mentally telling yourself, oh, I did a good job. Like you're actually changing your brain structure and chemistry by doing these hard things that you do not want to do.
Dude,
that's important.
Right.
Super
that's
important.
Right. And I'd love to see as many guys at F3 be able to do 5 minutes of 15 burpees every minute on the minute. Like you should be able to do that and hold a conversation. That's the goal. Like you should become so proficient at moving your body through space down to the ground and back up again. And you should be able to keep your heart rate so calm that you could just get through 5 minutes and just have a conversation. And my whole thing is like, imagine if we can get as many men to do 5 minutes of 15 burpees a minute. Let's just say we had thousands and thousands and thousands of men.
Yeah. If nothing else happened, just that.
But imagine this, if the blood markers, the resting heart rate, the body fat, all those things that it requires to be able to do that. But on top of that, imagine in a moment where you need to be able to do things with your family. If you could do 15 burpees every minute for 5 minutes, your likelihood of being able to run into the street to help your kid, your likelihood to be able to go have the energy to go play basketball with your son is huge. Right. Yeah, so that's why we're simplifying down fitness so much. It's like, if you could do that, think about how calm you could stay for 3 minutes if you had to fight. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to equate some of these things for people.
No, dude, because it's so, I laugh and I joke because it's like, literally this is, we talk about this stuff all the time. We talk about like being gas station ready.
Gas station ready. Absolutely. Right? 100%. Yeah. Or I call it bulkhead ready. Like, dude, I sit in the bulkhead of an airplane. Because I want to be ready. If shit gets weird, we got to be ready to,
And what's funny is, I'm not saying I am either, but you know what? But it's funny because I find myself, because I'm in reasonably good shape. Like, we worked out. Like I'm okay. I'm not Khalipa, but I do all right. But like when I go on these trips or when I go to these places, I look around and I'm like, and I see you, right? And I'm like, shit, if something goes weird, I'm gonna go tag that guy, and I'm be like, you and me, we're gonna go. Right. Yeah. It's time. Right. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? And you'd be looking for me, like we need
as many men on that path. And then obviously
every swinging dick.
Yeah. You get all the mental benefits and all that. But I'm at Huck's favorite part.
All right. Number 5.
It's number 5. So
kiss a man on the mouth 5 times a day. Oh no, that's
no. That one was just in your, that was just you wanted.
You're going to have to give that up.
Yeah. That's what it is. I knew there was something to it. Yeah.
So number 5 is cutting the crutch. Here's the thing about crutches. I don't want anything to own me, meaning like I don't want anything to be in control of me. Now, my wife, you can make an argument she controls.
No, that's like we joke like that, but I think we know what you mean, and you're serious, and I believe it.
I don't want anything to own the way I act or the way I feel, and that is a crutch. So if I have to smoke the cigarette, if I have to drink, if I have to go see porn, whatever it is, if I have to, it's owning me. And I want to control that crutch. If I choose to intentionally, after the challenge is over, reintroduce alcohol, I could do it in a way that's intentional and not as a crutch. So if, for example, my wife and I, we like to go wine taste. That's something we enjoy. We celebrate that together. That's intentional. But if I come home from work and I pop 4 or 5 IPAs every night, that's a crutch. That's just doing it as a habitual thing. It drives no additional value in my life. If anything is taken away, it's expensive and it holds me back from my fitness goals. So the goal for number 5 is to cut the crutch. Don't let anything control you, right? You want to be in control of that thing. And the real test of it is, can you remove it for 45 days? And I'm not like dogmatic about this. Like, dude, if after 45 days you want to reintroduce things, go for it. Like, that's fine.
Again, it's just like it's more about what changes here than whether or not you actually give the thing up forever and ever or not.
Yeah.
Now
it's
you
about when
know you
finish-
mastered yourself.
Well, exactly. You're saying, hey, I have the willpower to be able to do it, and maybe it reintroduces the way you look at it. So, for example, alcohol is probably the biggest one. Is
Sure.
that
Or
you could
cookies in
go
my
from
case, but either
drinking
way.
4 or 5 days a week to what'll happen is, so I've cut out alcohol multiple times in my life, and when you cut it out for 45 days, you get into a situation where you're like a week in, you're like, well, normally I would be drinking right now, and then you realize like I don't really miss it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just like, then every now and then over 45 days, you're like, damn, this would be a really good opportunity. Like, I'd really like to enjoy this Pinot with my wife or whatever it is.
Sure.
Those will be the moments when you reintroduce it that you'll go back to. But the other times where you're just like at dinner and you just want to order a couple of beers, you're not going to do it anymore.
You're mindlessly just doing it because that's what you do, or it's because like, gosh, I need to have that for whatever it is, right?
And every man's going to have to take an inventory of where they're at, right?
Dude,
for
I
me,
know what
it'll probably be alcohol. I'll remove. I don't consider myself a huge drinker, but I'll remove it. I don't really, dive into anything else that I feel like is something that like, damn, I have to kind of do that.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's dessert, baby.
So there
I'm
you
not
go.
joking. Like that one hurt my feelings when it was give up something. I was like, what would I even give up? I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink coffee. I mean, like, what would I even? And then I was like, ice cream. Son of a, like, I got a problem, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, but only if it's something like, and again, every man's gonna have to like this is gonna be one of those examples. They have to do like a deep inventory.
Yeah.
And you're only gonna be lying to yourself. Like, hey, is something honestly like holding you back from where you could be? Is it a crutch that's like, damn, ooh, ah?
I really struggle to go through an evening without it.
Then maybe that's
it. No,
right?
I'm telling you, I already know it. So I'm being honest. I'm saying it out loud for the PAX to hear so that they can hold me accountable and say, hey, fatty.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine I don't know. We'll have to see. I think alcohol will probably be the number one.
I'd put money on that. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I just already don't do that. So it doesn't
and here's the thing. If you're listening to this challenge, you're like, check. And then you get to number 5. You're like, oh, hell no, that's stupid. Be like, well, why is it stupid? I'm not sitting here telling you have to get rid of anything. You could make it something that's not that big of a deal for you. Or you could decide to sit there and be like, why does that invoke that emotion in me? Like, why am I?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Jason, you didn't call it the shoulder to shoulder comfort zone, did you?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a challenge for a reason.
Yeah.
I think for many men, for many men in the F3 organization, I just want to make sure I'm really clear about this. This is a free challenge for all men. Yep. We are here to pull men up, and in our app, which is the best. The reason why we're using our app is because I believe it's the best interface I've ever seen to be able to do something like this.
And I will say this,
guys. If there's a better one, I'd find it.
Absolutely. And I've been in it. I've looked at it. And in fact, Jason and I even talked because I was like, guys might get a little weird about, getting an app and registering something, whatever, because some of our guys get really weird about info. But then I look at it and I'm like, look, fellas, ain't nobody forcing you to do the challenge. Okay. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Stay the same. Do whatever you want. Right. But I'm telling you from my perspective, right? I'm saying, hard commit to the challenge. I don't love that I'm doing that. Like already I'm like, this is going to be tough. I don't like certain things about it. My life, I'm a pretty disciplined guy. I've got pretty strong routines. I do things the way I do them, and this is going to disrupt that. Right. Mm-hmm. Which to me, what's principle number 1, PAX, if we had like a quiz show or something, like what's principle number 1 in F3 leadership? Disruption. It's disturbance to the status quo. That's the only way to lead. It's the only way to get better. It's the only way to do anything good for yourself. So yes, is there an app? Yes. Do you need to go in and register in it? Yeah, it's okay. Number 1, I'm telling you, I trust Jason Khalipa. I trust him. Also, if there was a better thing, like I looked and I was like, because we talked about other ways to try and collect the information and like, well, get a guy in here and maybe we could just like publish the workouts and then, bro, forget it. It's free. He's never going to sell your information. He's never going to like magically charge your credit card or something like none of that's going to happen. I'm telling you, I endorse, I'm telling you, I'm putting my name on it. Like it's not going to happen. So get in the app, register, get the workouts done. I mean, right.
The community section is going to be popping off. Like the reason why we had to do it in the app is because we have a community section in there and the workouts that I think combined is the secret sauce. If we just had one or the other, it wouldn't be as powerful. So that's where it's going to be, because what we had last year for the challenge, we did something different. And every day people would be in there, dude, I got my burpees done. I got my burpees done. So maybe that day you hadn't done your burpees and you go in there, you see like 50 people say, I got mine done. You're like, damn it. So it just is that little
Like, I guess I
notion
have
of
to, yeah.
encouragement.
And that's the other beauty of it, right? So I know that we'll do it in our local Slacks and stuff, like guys who choose to do this, if it's in a whole region or whatever it is, like we'll get in there and we'll be like, oh, I did mine or whatever, right? We all know that community is the answer. The other thing I would say is Jason's not going to get too mad at me. And if he does, he's got a long way to get to me. So I'm okay for a little bit. Right. But like, what a wonderful EH opportunity both ways, right? To say to a guy, hey, because I can tell you, I'm in Jason's captain Slack. Like he invited me in. Like, again, who does that? How are you letting me in, like what? Because we're on the same mission, right? So I'm in there and I watch these guys saying like the same things that our guys say. It feels so good to be part of something bigger. It feels so good to be connected to men again. Man, we're so excited that whatever the things are. And these are guys all over the country. It was funny because when you were here just a week ago, not even a full week ago, you were at 28. Now you're at 33.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're watching like the fire is real, the desire, because it's pure and honest and whether, even though it's not faith-based, but it's based on eternal principles. It's on truths. It's not based on Jason trying to promote Jason. It's not based on him trying to make a bunch of money. None of those things are happening. I believe him when he says it's always going to be free. That the Train Hard Men's Club on a Saturday, 100% always going to be free. That's just the deal.
And I should have mentioned this too. I apologize. I didn't mention this earlier. Every Thursday at 6 a.m. Pacific time, we host a free Train Hard Men's Club virtual call. That's just awesome. And Huck, if it's okay with you, I'd love to give you the link for the Zoom for the Thursday 6 a.m. call, completely free. We just bring on different speakers that are not gurus. They're guys like you and me. They're just normal guys sharing perspective. Like, that's all it is. So Thursday calls, Saturday or Sunday meetups in person. You guys obviously meet up all throughout the week, different times. And the real call to action here is let's get as many men to join us on the shoulder to shoulder challenge. And I am 100% here to support you on this journey. Like, I will be as readily available on every platform you could think of, because this is the mission. This is what I feel called to. And I appreciate, F3 and all of you guys for giving me the platform and the opportunity to talk to you guys today. Like, honestly, I feel so drawn to this mission,
Man, I agree. I'm not into platforming people, generally speaking. No, I'm serious. Because usually it's all about what I can get for me. And, but I don't feel that way. I mean, I'm not trying to blow too much sunshine, but when Jason says that he got rid of a couple things to be able to spend a little more time on this, it's a little understated, right? He sold off some things so that financially he doesn't have to do some of the other things that he was doing, because he has dedicated himself full time, not to making more money, building more gyms. He's dedicating himself full time for this next little period of time to this mission. That's significant. That's significant. That's the truth, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% the truth.
Yeah. So that's the mission. Like, and here I go. So what I do, I come in here and I go, all right, I've already done it. It's down right there. If you can see it, there's the app. And because you have that, you should be able to go see under the add-ons.
Oh yeah. The challenge is in there. I didn't know if it was live yet because I hadn't. Let's see.
It should be in there. Is it in the add-ons? Do you see it in the add-ons?
I may need to.
It says shoulder to shoulder. Do you see it in there?
I made it. Let's see here.
Sure enough, there it is.
Yep. And then S2S, the code is in there, free 2026.
We've had a few people that have actually paid for it $1. I don't know why they did. It's free. So just use the code free 2026. It's completely free.
trying to get it to where it automatically populates, but for some reason, PAX, it doesn't. Don't worry about it. Just put in free 2026 and
free
and
2026. It's a free challenge for all men. And here's a part. I'm going to get Dark Helmet on here to do one. I'm having captains from the men's club to do a video on every single day. And so I need to send you a workout that you could do. So basically, you do a selfie and it's like, hey, I just did this workout. I'm Dark Helmet from F3. And every day I want a different man to be on this, because the most important thing for me, and I hope this is the biggest takeaway for everybody listening, this mission is not about me. It's not about Dark Helmet. It's not about Huck. It's about us, all of us. And it's not, I'm trying really hard to not make this about me, because it'll never be sustainable. It'll never grow to its potential unless we make it about us. And so that's why every day we're going to have a different man because every single guy listening to this has a story to tell. Every guy listening has something to add to all of us. And I think this idea that we put certain people up on pedestals is unfortunate. So every Thursday on our live calls and every single day on the challenge will be a different man sharing their perspective on the workout, because it's all value.
Yeah. So Pax, as you're, and Huck, I'm not going to apologize, but I do feel a little bad that like Jason and I just kind of took over the whole thing and didn't let you say a whole lot. So I apologize, but
I get to edit this. I'll edit you all out anytime.
No, fair enough. That's a good point. Yeah. You can be all of it if you want. Yeah. Pax, I really hope that you hear what's happening here. And that you can look a little further into the future and see what's happening, and kind of the bigger picture of this is Jason and I coming together on this kind of a thing is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. This, not just for our work together in this mission that we're all on to raise men up and to improve masculinity in our world, but there will be others who will decide to be, I'm about to dub it this. And if you hate it and you're unhappy with me about it, I may apologize, or I may just say like, tough, that's too bad. I'm going to kind of call it this shoulder to shoulder coalition, man. Right? Like these other movements, these other men, these other people who are dedicated to you, the Pax, the men of this world. I think it's time for us to recognize that the days of fat dad on the couch, the days of just letting things slide by and letting your wives handle everything for you, like those days are gone. They're gone. You can try and live in the past if you want, and maintain your status quo as best you can and fight for it if you'd like to. That's your business. You're a grown man, do what you like. But I sure would love it if you grab hold of this train, because the momentum is there. It is not something that is stoppable. This is what is happening in the world, and we need you along this same journey with us. We need you with us. And so that's why I'm just so pumped to be able to say, hey, Jason and I are doing this. This is a thing. I mean, he and I even committed to on a regular cadence to checking in. I want to say, here's all the things that we've done with F3 that didn't work so well. Like, maybe you can do them better, and correct some places where maybe we, just don't trip over the same things or whatever it might be. Right. And vice versa, because to us, and this is something that I think PACs get twisted up in a little bit too sometimes, but I really want to say it so that they hear it. To us, it's kind of the old Harry S. Truman, right? Like, it's amazing what we can accomplish if we don't care who gets the credit. Right? This F3 has always been the framework that we hoped a man would use so that he could lead the thing that's on his heart better and make it impactful in the world, right? We don't change the world. F3 does not. We change the men who change the world. And this I feel like is an effort in that same direction. Because I believe in Jason and what he's doing and I want him to do well, but also because his mission's the same in the sense that it's like, if he's doing well, Train Hard Men's Club, that means that hundreds and thousands of other men are doing well. And that's the mission that we're on. And that's what we're all about. And so I really hope, very sincerely, like I said, hard commit, as much as I don't love the idea, Jason's going to be kind of my accountability partner through this deal. But I'm going to do the 45-day challenge. It launches is it January 5th?
January 5th. And here's just something for every F3 man and for you guys to reflect on. And me too. I was at a High Rocks competition that had 14,000 people running a run and like station rotation with my wife this weekend. And I had some people come up to me because of my background in CrossFit. I have a social media platform and whatever. I had some people come up to me and I would ask them, I was like, hey, have you guys heard of F3? And many men have never heard of F3. I had never heard of it until a year ago. And it's just one of those things where like your perception, like sometimes you think like everybody knows about F3 or everybody knows about Train Hard Men's Club. Nobody does. Like, and that goes for all of us, meaning like a rising tide will raise all the boats or whatever.
Yes.
Like we just need more men to be connecting shoulder to shoulder. And the fact, like, we think people know about it, they don't. Like, these things are very new to many men.
I always joke and say micro famous, super micro,
yeah,
amongst a very small set of very specific people.
Yeah. And all I want to do is be able to amplify the message that all of us believe in.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
that through our networks, we could do that.
I agree, man. I agree.
All right, I'm gonna talk. Hang on, let me hit the mute button on y'all. There. Now you can't talk. Let me recap this. So there's a natural collaboration. I hope you guys saw it. I hope you guys felt it between these two guys, and I got to watch it. One of the things I don't get into relationships unless there's some benefit for me or benefit of the organization. Otherwise, why do it? And I'm tired of hearing that if you want a good workout, you probably go somewhere else. You can't say that now. You can't bring in Jason Khalipa and say this workout isn't going to be great. We have the same thing in September with the Iron Packs Challenge. We got the Make America Burpee coming again in January. You're going to do 100 burpees every day anyway. This is a way to get your 45. 45 days. I'm going to warn you. This starts January 5th. That means the last day is February 18th. That puts Valentine's Day at the tail end of this. A lot of y'all going to get pregnant. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Y'all going to look good. You're going to get pregnant. Meals, Jason does a great job talking on his Instagram about how it's disrupting. He's just wanted you to rethink how you plan meals. He does a great job. The same thing with the 45 burpees. He has this great video where he shows you can do these burpees hard. You can do them slow. You can do them methodical. Check out his channel. He does a great job with that. What was the last one? I think that's it. Did I recap that good? And please,
I have one question though.
Can we go over one more time how to get guys signed up?
Yes.
Yeah. So the best thing that we're going to do is I will send you the link as soon as this episode is over.
Yep.
But essentially it's th.fit. th.fit is our actual website. Within there's a link that we could put in the podcast show notes where essentially you go underneath training on our website and you hit challenges. And when you go there, it'll take you to the shoulder to shoulder. But right now, it's just a pre-registration page. I want to have that updated with the actual registration page on there. But you'll have all the information. So th.fit. And if you go under training and you go under challenges, boom, it's right there. But again, Huck, if I could just send you that link as soon as we get done with this episode, that's where all the information's at. And gentlemen, here's the simple ask for all of you. Do it and invite a friend. Invite a friend that you know is right there, like right there on the cusp. I'm telling you, there's many men out there that have fallen off the path, and all they need is a good friend to invite them back on. That's all I'm asking. And
no, I think that's beautiful. I was going to say, here's what it looks like, Pax, because this is because guys will know, right? It's a guy that hasn't been out in 6 months, right? Or it's a guy who comes out a couple times a week, and you're like, I see him, like, I know he wants to accelerate, like he's getting there, and he needs something. I'm amazed, Jay, and maybe this is true in your world too, right? Or maybe you've seen it, right? Like when a guy has a thing to train for, he tends to do better,
Absolutely.
Right? It's not just like, I'm just training, but when he has like a thing that he's doing, like it's much better. So maybe it's a guy's coming out a couple times a week and you see him and he's ready to accelerate, but you need something to tip him over the edge, right? To really get him to buy all the way in. This is possibly that.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So I would love to send you just essentially just two links. One is to the shoulder to shoulder challenge, and the other is for our weekly virtual Train Hard Men's Club calls. And the reason, we have a map, but you guys are already going to F3. Like, dude, keep doing everything is great. We should have collaborations between the two parties in person, but the virtual calls are open for any man. And I think they drive a lot of value. I leave there feeling juiced up, and I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, I love it, man. Jason, Huck, that's all I'm going to say
we're going to San Jose to hang out with Jason.
Hey, you come to San Jose anytime. I will come anytime.
Yeah, we invite ourselves places.
January 5th? We going on January 5th?
January 5th.
Kick it off.
Come to
Kick it off right
California. There. I would love to host you guys for a nice dinner. We'll go out. We'll go for a ruck. You'll get to meet the guys. Woo!
And we'd have to load up on whatever we're going to eat, Huck, because then it's over. It's like, then I got 45 days of hell ahead of me. So, no. But let me say again, just from my perspective, Huck, thanks for inviting me to come and be here with you, and because that's always a pleasure. One of my best friends in the whole world. Love this man. And Jason, I'm really grateful that you came on. It's one of those things where sometimes I know a thing in my heart. Sometimes I know a thing in my head before I know it in my heart. That's easy, right? Sometimes I know a thing in my heart before I know it in my head. And this is the thing I feel like I know in my heart, that we're going to figure out the head part of it, even past this challenge. And there's something very, very large coming for the men of this world. And I believe that we're at the forefront of it. And I'm grateful.
One thing you guys didn't tip on, but man, I love knowing that you guys are out there. I love going to the UK and knowing 6 miles down the way, there's a guy who can take care of it. I don't know if you pulled up the news this morning, but it's pretty crappy. Just everything. But there's an incident in Australia where some badass dude ran out from behind the car and tackled a dude. And by God, we need to fill the world with more men like that.
Ahmed was his name, right?
And I just need to know we're all here. We're all here ready to go. And we're fit enough to do it. So on that, is there any questions I should have asked, didn't ask? Wish I would have asked.
The last one. Does a burpee require a clap at the top?
So for the train hard version, no. You just
No,
stand back.
yeah, that's all I care about.
Dude, it's so funny. Like I'll get so much crap for that. Oh, it's not a burpee. It's like, bro, dude, I've been in the fitness space for 20 years. I competed professionally in CrossFit. There's so many levels of a burpee, so many different definitions of it. If you don't want to jump and clap, don't jump and clap. Who cares?
There you heard it from the man. That's the deal. No clap.
Hey,
y'all kick ass, be kind.
All right.
And this is Huckleberry.